I'm gonna do a little lavender painting here, just spritzing some water on. I am not saturating this paper a lot. I really want the water to be kind of just on the top because my goal here is to create movement and to keep the light. So now I just put in a little cerulean, and then I mix the cerulean with a little bit of cobalt to add dimension. You can see now that there's this dimension of closer and farther away. It's not just a flat sky. And I'm going to do the same with everything. With here I put in my sap green and again, I'm just moving it around. I want it to have movement, and so that's why I'm kind of pulling up these brushes so that you can kind of get, it's going to create this background look of leaves blowing in the wind. Now purple and green together will make a ghastly color. So I am strategically putting in my purple, not touching the green. It can touch the blue all day long. Those two colors together are fabulous, but green and purple are not. So I'm just finding the white spaces. Again, you can see how they're all slanting kind of to the right. I'm creating movement with that slant. As this dries, this will be the background, but I've kept a lot of white space, and what I do have in color has movement, and it's all kind of leaning like it's blowing to the right. I'll leave a little bit of the green wet. I like to have a little wet left because I think where you have, when the wet hits the wet, again, that's what creates this movement. So now I'm gonna paint in my lavender or lupines, whatever flower this is, I really don't know. When I first start, my purple is not strong enough, not dark enough. It's a little too wet. It looks fine really when I'm putting it on here right now, but up close I could see that it was a lot of water. And so it was gonna just dry very, very faint. And I really want pop here. So now you'll see this one is more of a, what I would call a creamy consistency, and is a lot darker. And I need that deep of a contrast to make this work. So I'm gonna drop in a little bit of dark into that as well. It's just tap, 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 and create the shape by tapping in. And you basically just look around and find, this is kind of where you learn how to trust your gut. Where is the next one? And different sizes, small and large. I want most of them to lean to the right, but I am having them go both directions. I'm bringing some off from the side. I think that is something that beginners often forget. They just want everything to stay within the frame of the tape, and they don't think about how, I mean, if you took a snapshot of this field, there would be some coming in from the left and from the right and from the bottom that you wouldn't get the whole of the flower. So remember to do that when you are composing your painting. Can you see the movement? You can kind of feel it as you're looking at it already. You can see that there's movement in this. There's lots of white space, so it's very airy. And that makes it cheery and that makes it fresh. I'm coming back in now with a little bit more darker color. And that, again, adds dimension. So you put your base down, then you come back in with a darker color. Now I decided here to add in some cobalt, and it's pretty wet, so it creates a blur. And for movement, I think blur is good. So, and I kind of always like that look. So I'm bringing in a cobalt into the purple and just creating some blur and dimension. Now I decided it just needs to have some blue sprinkled throughout. I like that. That really, again, brings a dimension. It doesn't have to like, okay, what are those blue dots? I have no idea. I'm not sure what they are in the way of flowers, but they definitely add dimension to this painting. So sometimes it doesn't have to like, you don't have to be able to explain what those blue flowers are. Are they tiny little violets? I don't know. Now I'm trying to create my green, and it was a mixture of some sap green, some burnt umber, a little bit of cobalt. This is kind of a tricky bit, trying to find where to put these stems and the leaves and not create a mess. You still want to keep this white space. A very simple leaf of just pressing and lifting. And you notice I didn't make the stems just completely solid. Now I'm getting ready to make a leaf I hated. I think this is where it is. Yes. Okay, get ready to see this. I just was like, no. But actually, after a while, it looked all right. But it was just so much thicker than all the other leaves. But I think it does bring your eye around, and it works. So now we're just going to put in some leaves here and there. These are thinner ones that, again, can feel the wind is blowing this a little bit to the right. And my color is a little darker. I mixed it a bit darker when I did this so that there would be dimension. But I'm saving the white space. Remember to do that. That's your light. People are drawn to light. I'm mixing now a darker green. It's actually green with sepia because I want to make my stem stand out a bit more. I'm using a thinner brush as well. I'm using the Princeton Neptune. I love those. And then I decided I'm just going to tap the bottoms so that they're not so harsh. I'm tapping the bottoms with a little bit of this sepia green, so it looks more like the lavender, the lupine is coming off that stem. And now I just put in some dark spots, just kind of like what I did. They're very, very light, but they do add dimension. And this is the dark green, just little spots. And there we have it. That is it. It's just a cheery, fast little painting, but there you go. Thanks for watching.